Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Citizen Sleeper 2, where today we find ourselves badly injured, glitching, and in unfamiliar territory. But hey, at least we sure do have a whole lot of fuel and supplies. Maybe we can make use of them. Boy, this is a tall spire here. So I guess let's just check it out from the top, right? Here at the Pinnacle Docks, what do we got? The ability to just roam around. Looking around the Pinnacle Docks without getting in someone's way is hard. It takes fortitude to explore among the chaos. Or we can try to study the shipping manifests and just, like, gather something, divine something from the data. Seems not exactly our speed. The Pinnacle Docks are vast and filled with freight haulers and stevedores. Not an easy place to wander. It does seem like the kind of place I could probably make myself pretty useful, though. Although we are working with 3 ones and a 2 today. We can explore the core, just kind of wander around. The core of the spindle is where crews and freelancers mix. Travelers rest and resupply, and business gets done. We can chat directly to crew. For some reason, this is dangerous. If you want tips on crew and contracts, you might as well ask. Yeah, maybe. Over here at Bliss's Bay... Okay, they're repairing the rig. We have 4 cycles on that. In the underhang, the growing shantytown down here, many residents of the Far Spindle live in the ramshackle underhang. It is not an easy place to learn to navigate. We could just come down here and help people out, make ourselves useful. Always in need of repair work. I guess the top seems like the best way to start getting to know people, at least for our skill set. Although, you know, it's a danger thing. So probably, actually, with these dice, we should not do that. Yeah, we really actually, this is a terrible time to have these dice. I mean, it's never a good time to have 2 and 3 ones. I guess let's try the engineering. At least this is only risky. Ooh, let's see how this goes. Alright, negative outcome. We gained a little bit of familiarity, but lost in energy for it. It's a harsh price. We gotta do something, but I don't... We can go back to the rig and sleep? I can make a meal in the galley with the supplies. We can... This just de-stresses you, right? I'm not stressed at all. That's certainly not the problem we're having. I guess, you know, that being the case, we may as well throw another 1 at this, and then we'll just turn some supplies into food. Hey, hit the neutral. Alright. Learning something already. Nemba's Kitchen, refugee canteen. Nemba's Kitchen serves those that can't work in the underhang, but able-bodied visitors like you have to work a kitchen shift to get to eat. No, that's fair. Nemba is too busy to spend too much time with everyone in the kitchen, but he does notice those who do good work. Okay, so if we just throw a couple of dice at this, maybe eventually we'll get noticed. This is... You know, the glitchy die with the 20% positive, it is better than a normal one here, so let's go ahead and do it. I mean, there's more chance of negative, but there's no chance of a positive on the normal one. I'm just going to throw our other 1 here, even though we don't need the energy. Okay, wow. We hit that positive. So first of all, that would have been full energy. I think that was 4 energy pips. Like, good to know about. Alright, and with that, we rest. Okay, we're meeting people. We're getting out there. We have got to figure out how to repair dice, though. Alright, at least we can't take any more damage. So this seems like a good time to get up here and do some work at the docks. You help some stevedores move some cargo, and they pay you back by showing you shortcuts through the docks. Cool. As you glide through the pinnacle docks, you hear shouting echoing down a corridor. You tentatively change direction, your eyes fixed ahead as the passage widens out into a large bay. Others rush past you, heading towards the commotion. Your eyes are drawn by the bay's vast viewing window, which is currently being spattered with glittering shards of ice. In front of it, a dock worker is shouting to anyone who will listen. "Spacers! Workers of the Far Spindle! We need your urgent assistance! The water carrier Springtide has suffered heavy damage in its transit from Wellspring." He takes a breath. "All able hands, we need you to help secure the cargo. Without this water, Far Spindle will struggle to support you." He looks desperately at the crowd. "Please, any who are able to help, please make yourself known." Behind him, a corona of ice ejects from one of the tanks, drawing a pale halo around the ship. A handful of experienced-looking spacers push through the crowd towards the front, and dock workers start to direct them to nearby bridges. You watch the scene unfold, hesitant in the face of making someone else's problem your own. But, I mean, I could be useful here, right? Like, I feel like we should help. Yeah, I have a drive to secure the Springtide. And there is a timer on this. So unfortunately it is danger endure, so the best dice we can throw at it are probably still not good enough right now. I'd really love to see a 4 or higher for that. I guess the cycle clock's long enough, we could probably wait. Let's take these riskier dice back to the underhang maybe, where things are a little bit lower stakes. Just keep trying to help people out, slowly but surely. Well, maybe not surely, but slowly anyway. Okay, I mean, we're getting it done. Even with a negative outcome, we still make some progress. You go door to door offering repairs, but all you get are suspicious looks and a tiring tour of the units. That said, it was enough for us to discover Spindle's Edge. Most of the Far Spindle workers don't like going out to seal up the new units, so they leave that tiring and dangerous work for outsiders. Okay, this is a way we could probably make some decent money. Or favor, or something. And then, yeah, we'll throw glitch dice in to earn a meal. Just work a shift here helping to feed people. You annoy one of the chefs and they saddle you loading the auto wash. By the time you're done, there isn't much food left. But it's still, you know, it's still something. And it's good work. It's like morally good work. Alright, please show me some better dice. I really want to help out with that ship. Okay, we get some stuff done. You awake to the sound of blaring proximity alarms. You quickly unstrap from your bunk and dizzily glance around. Lane? Bounty hunters? You kick off and glide to the door. As you do, Bliss pops their head around the corner. Sorry, they look a little sheepish. In all honesty, it's not my fault. Your wiring's all backwards. It takes you a moment to understand what's happening. You steady yourself against the doorframe. Sorry, I'm just a little jumpy. Oh, I get it. Bliss looks down. I didn't mean to wake you. It takes you a while to get ready and drift down to the mess to see what's happening. By then, Bliss has turned off the alarms. You find them unspooling wires from a hatch you'd never previously noticed in the mess's ceiling. Sorry again, Sleeper. Their voice comes through the ceiling panels, muffled and dull. You settle at a stool, neatly tucking your legs behind the crossbar. So, how are the repairs coming? Bliss spins deftly, hooking their legs into the open ceiling so that, from your perspective, they're hanging upside down. Almost done, if you can believe it. Their messy hair floats around their head. Couple of cycles worth of diagnostics, and I'll be happy enough to release her back to you. A yawning Seraphim drifts in. He looks between the two of you, amused. What are you both doing up so early? You and Bliss exchange amused looks. What? Did you not hear that alarm? He shrugs. Heavy sleeper. He drifts over to the mess's cupboards to hunt for some breakfast. You turn back to Bliss, but they've disappeared back into the ceiling panels. Before long, the mess is filled with the shrill screech of a power tool. Seraphin looks totally unaffected and hooks himself onto a stool, lazily sucking at a ration pouch while he taps away at his slate. The screech finally stops. After a while, you kick off from your stool. It's time to head out. Bliss rushes after you, stopping you in the passageway before you can leave. I have something I want to show you. Bliss leads you off the main corridor into a corner of the ship you don't remember visiting before. You come into a room with low sloped ceilings, a single round window illuminating some neat tool storage, and a workbench set into the wall. Look, Bliss begins. I'm no specialist, but I'm a quick learner and I'm good at repairs. They smile. And I think you have need of me. They glance at you, at a tear in the thick vinyl skin of your arm. Can I take a look? We already owe, but I do really need to be fixed. They smile and lead you toward the workbench. They turn your arm, looking at the tear from all angles. They reach over to the workbench and take a small sealant gun from the rack. You look at the setup. It's basic, but it looks clean and well organized. They gently close the tear with sealant, pressing the edges together so it closes up neatly. After they're done, they release your arm and you can barely see the scar. Bliss admires their work. See? They smile. I know it's more serious than a tear, Bliss folds their arms, but I can handle it. They turn and search through a set of metal drawers for a moment. Here. They produce a couple of carefully machined, pristine components. I was saving these for an important job. I guess I just found it. Bliss pushes the components into your hands. Take them. When you're ready, come up here and we'll fix you up. These are a rare find, though. In future, we might have to make do with something lower quality. They wince. You can find scrap components at most scrapper ships, like that one that's hanging around the underhang. And the better the components, the easier they'll integrate with your system. Bliss leans on the workbench. I'll do my best to keep you running. Yeah, appreciated, but why? Well, you're a guest in my bay. I can't have my guests' bodies collapsing now, can I? Plus, I think it benefits me if you think of me as indispensable. Bliss smiles. Well, I should get back to fixing the ship. They leave you in the workshop among the simple tools, considering the particular qualities of your new friend. Yeah, a friend, in the sense that this is a person who wants to help me, but also this is a person who has a tremendous power over me, and that makes me nervous. Okay, so you can repair your dice at the rig workshop. You can only repair dice that are broken. So no partials. Repairs require either scrap components or rare components. The better components you use, the fewer glitches you will suffer. Cannot repair dice during a contract. Okay, so these are the rare components, the good shit. Okay, let's get one fix up here. And we gained a single point of glitch that sorry, I didn't mean to jump back so fast. My fingers twitched. Okay, so we have 4 points available. I gotta be honest with you. My inclination is to bump either engineer or endure. Like, let's lean in on the things that we're good at. I mean, we're pretty good at endure. And endure is the thing that is in demand here, right? Yeah, I'll feel a lot better about throwing a 3 at that if I have 2 pluses. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's just really max this out. This seems to be a skill that a lot of people need out here. Okay. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and throw the 5 at it, see what comes. Okay, positive is +3, so it turns out these 6s will do it. You instruct one of the crew to use a hull plate to shield you from the ice while you work, and you get the leak sealed fast. The Springtide seems stable now, even if a huge amount of water has been lost in the process. Well, hopefully we got there relatively quickly. You watch from the docking bay's viewing window as the crumpled, vast hull of the Springtide is finally welded shut by a score of bright torches flickering against its side. Everywhere I look, I see a crisis. The voice comes from beside you, and you turn to see a man floating there watching the repair work. You don't recognize him. I saw you out there, helping the crew. He turns to you with a serious look. Well, they needed it. You aren't wrong. He pauses, watching you carefully. I haven't seen you on the Spindle before. What, if I may ask, is your business here? Just running a crew. Doing space work like everybody else is always doing. Springtide is my ship. His voice remains impassive. Or at least I'm her captain. I don't own her. The Lodic Syndicate, my employer, was the one to put her into service. Oh, glad to meet you. He bows his head gently. Well, you have my thanks for assisting with the repairs. We were caught by some autonomous Conway munitions. He looks out at his ship. The Wellspring run is getting more dangerous every cycle. And after Hexport, he pauses. I do not expect things to improve. You're both quiet for a moment, the loss of the station still inspiring silence in anyone who mentions it. Tell me, Malik meets your eye. As a sleeper, do you feel you have advantages over others, or does your particular condition provide only weaknesses? That's a crazy thing to ask a stranger. I'm not answering that. Oh, apologies. Malik gently raises his hands. You're only the second sleeper I've ever met. I ask because you've impressed me. He gestures toward the Springtide. Your work on my ship only evidences your abilities. You far outperformed even my own crew. He looks to you, angling his head in deference, in conditions that are usually deadly. Sadly, despite even your good work, our losses have been great, and the administration at the Far Spindle are not happy. We're to be impounded here until the Lodic Syndicate fulfills the agreed water freight. He frowns at the crumpled-looking ship. This war continues to pressure the belt. So, what will you do? See, this is where you are needed, Sleeper. Malik folds his arms. My crew tells me you have a ship. You have workers. This is what I need. As we fled from the Conway attack, our navigator registered something of great interest. A water-rich asteroid, one I believe is previously unknown to the syndicates. He comes a little closer. For now, I have sworn him to secrecy, as I must you. That might have been a good thing to do before telling me about the thing. I guess as long as he hasn't given me the location yet, it doesn't matter. But if this asteroid could be surveyed, its value confirmed, they would more than make up for the shortfall of the Springtide. He pauses thoughtfully. I mean, this is so weird. So tell them where it is. How does this involve me? Like, it's pretty obvious where he's going with this. I'm just gonna let him do it. I want you to survey the asteroid for me. It's a simple enough job, but its location, so close to the edge of the wash, is problematic. However, you've shown yourself to be very competent. If you're careful, there's no reason you should have problems with Conway or any other hostile party for that matter. Sure, what do I get? Well, I will, of course, reimburse you with a portion of the fee for the Far Spindle administration, with a portion of the fee that the Far Spindle administration are withholding from me. 250 cryo is my offer. That's not as much as I was hoping for. Why not do it yourself? Well, as I've said, my ship and crew are impounded. Meanwhile, I do not believe the Lodic Syndicate would appreciate me taking their ship on this particular excursion. Malik passes you a thumbnail drive. Here are details on the tests I need you to run for the survey. A sample core of ice from deep within the asteroid should give you enough material to work with. You notice a member of the Springtide's crew waiting quietly at a distance, and Malik nods to them discreetly. This is a delicate matter, Sleeper. Survey the rock, and on your return, broadcast the results to my personal terminal. The frequency is in that data. He pauses, meeting your eye. The results go to me. Only to me. Then, once the matter is resolved, you'll be paid. I'm needed, he nods to the crew member, but I expect you have all you need. I've enjoyed watching you work, Sleeper. Impress me again. He says almost like a threat. And with that, he bows a little and drifts away to meet his crew member. After watching him go, you turn back to the Springtide, still impressive despite being scarred with curls of ice and shiny with fresh welds. You imagine any captain of a ship like that has been through a lot to get to where they are. That makes them a valuable ally or a dangerous adversary, depending on where you are. You hope with Malik you can find your way to being the former. Okay, that's interesting. I really wish that we had secured some portion of the payment up front. But, yeah, it seems like an important thing to do. So, 2 pushes to 4 here, which is a little... it's fine, but honestly I think I might just put this 2 into the meal-making machine. Okay, neutral. The Zero-G kitchen is chaotic at first, but soon you see the patterns and processes, and do your best to follow them. We're halfway to impressing Nemba, and we're managing to stay pretty well fed in the process. Yeah, overall I think things are going pretty well. So, let's have a quick look at this contract. I know we can't travel in... Oh, I'm not even allowed to look. Okay, that's fine, I guess. So, we get all 5 of our dice now. Hooray! And we lost our last point of glitch, finally. You jerk suddenly awake. I mean, we had lost it, and then we gained a new one, but whatever. The point is, we're de-glitchified. From tomorrow, all of our dice will be real. A fragment is lodged in your mind. A shard of sound, of signal, a tone. It resonates like tinnitus, obviously internal, inescapable. You look down to see your hands blurred, your fingers dancing as if they were typing. Your fingers flap like caught birds, trying desperately to take control of them. It takes all your focus to settle them. You force yourself back into them, a sensation like squeezing on a tight pair of gloves. You flex your hands a little to feel them, test them. What was that? You take a deep breath to calm yourself, but as you do, you are reminded that you don't need to breathe. It is a claustrophobic sensation that you cannot shake. You get up, push off the wall, pull on your clothes. Anything to escape the dreams that hover there at the back of your mind. Seraphim drifts in casually, heading to his bunk to grab something. You can't shake the strange sensation that he has just drifted into your mind. He shoots you a glance. I said, are you okay? He gives you a concerned look. You look terrible. Yeah, not really, actually. You mumble a response. You need to talk to me, Sleeper. Seraphim gives you a look. He sighs. I know something happened back when we were leaving Hexport. What do you mean? I saw it, Sleeper. I saw something change in your eyes. He pauses, looking for the right way to explain. They were cold, fixed. I've never seen that before. He looks away. And back when we first met, I knew at once you were human. And I knew because of your eyes. I'd never met a sleeper before, but I knew immediately that you were no machine. It was obvious. But then, on the rig, he shivers. Well, I couldn't see that anymore. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Well, what did it feel like? He gives you a curious look. I'm not going to be able to work that out. I don't know. I just can't describe it. Okay, we need to get you checked up then. We need to know what's happening. Seraphim gives you a stubborn stare. You know, this isn't just about you. No, he's right. Like, this is my business is a weirdly petulant response. He's relying on me for, survival in space. Yeah, but where? So I've been asking around. Seraphim's face is set with determination now. There's another station near this one. Flotsam? It's a mess, an accumulation of wrecks and docked ships, but it also houses some of the best artificers in the wash. We should go there as soon as the rig is ready. Yeah, okay, I'll go. I'm not going to argue with this. I would like to be medicaled up. Look, he pauses. I know I don't know what it's like to be a sleeper. I understand there are things you can't tell me or can't show me, but I do know how fear can keep you from doing what you need to do. I'm not going to nag you about it, he sighs, but it needs to be done. He passes by you as he leaves the bunks, squeezing your shoulder as he does, leaving you to your thoughts. You finish getting dressed, feeling your body, its strangeness, even though you wish you didn't. At the very least, you think, you need to find someone who can stop you from falling apart. Maybe Flotsam's not such a bad idea. You push the thought to the back of your mind. There's a cycle ahead, and the rig isn't ready. When it is, then you'll see. So it's not a big problem. The writing's good overall, right? But I do feel like the writing in this game, and it was also true in the previous game, does suffer a little bit from the thing you saw there, where like you get to the end of a scene and there's a good scene ending line, and then there's another one, and then there's another one, and then there's another one, and it just kind of like they don't they don't always know when to step out and give you back control. All right, diagnose our frame. That is definitely sort of a long-term concern. So we may as well finish Pinnacle Explorer, right? Although I guess, am I more interested in finishing exploration of the Underhang? Maybe. And then here at the core, all we have is an engage. Yeah. Alright, let's roam the docks a little bit more. You feel like you have a good sense of the key locations in the Pinnacle docks. For example, we've discovered the Venture Bar. Only vouched for members can gamble on the Venture, but bar shifts are easy to come by, mostly because they pay in tips and little more. But if you want to gamble in the Beltborn Venture, you'll need a member's backing. Perhaps after enough shifts, you'll find a sponsor. That's a lot of shifts. What else we got here? Signal Station. Signal Station searches for signals in the Far Spindle's local region. Sorting them is too much work for just the crew. Okay, so yeah, this is definitely just like attune yourself to the signal and the noise type stuff. Not really a thing we're very good at. So let's try to help out some people down here in the Underhang. Get a guaranteed success for the first time. Oh, plus energy. You've gotten to know the community that was settled in the Underhang and their humble neighborhood, giving us access to this scrapper ship. So we can take a shift doing some scrapping. We can also buy scrap components or process raw scrap. Okay, so this would be obviously pretty useful if we need to do any more dice repairs. And it might be a good idea to just have some scrap components on hand, actually. Not that we're hoping to need them, but we do have a few damage dice. Okay, and then with one die left, or no, not one die left, but with just ones left. Do we want to... What do I want to do? Definitely don't want to take a danger shift. If you put a glitched die in here, does it stay? Okay, it ignores the skill value. I think I'd rather just kind of throw these at Nemba's kitchen. The odds of us, we're basically for sure going to get the thing finished, right? Because you get +1 even on a negative. Also, sometimes you just hit the 20% twice in a row. Okay, neutral outcome. Oh no, that's right. You don't get Nemba. You get energy even on a negative. You don't get Nemba. But we got lucky there. After your shift, just as you're cleaning up, someone grabs you and asks you if you can come out front. Sleeper, Nemba wants to see you. You nod to the other volunteers as you wipe off your hands and clip your cutlery to the magnetic rack. You drift out of the improvised canteen on your way to the kitchen in the back. It was a busy shift, and each shift seems busier than the last. That makes sense, of course. You've seen the steady flow of refugees arriving from the inner system, and most of them, with barely a chit to their name, end up in the underhang. As you cross into the kitchen, you can still hear the rumble of the refugees' conversations through the hatch. The other chef leads you past the rehydrators and the hand-built centrifugal oven to a small office unit at the back of the kitchen. They knock on the door for you, then glide away to finish their own meal, leaving you to wait by it. You look around the small but carefully arranged kitchen as you wait, your shifts here having left you familiar with the mix of improvised and salvaged equipment, some of which you'd never seen before you came here. Come in, sleeper. Nemba is perched at a desk, uplit by a small transparent terminal screen, reading glasses perched on the end of his nose. You've seen Nemba before, but not as much as you'd imagine while working at a place called Nemba's Kitchen. Even though there isn't a proper sign out front, everyone in the underhang knows its name. The man himself is more of a mystery. Apart from the occasional barked order in the busy kitchen, he's little more than a blur to you. Why do you work here? He barely looks up from his terminal screen, the scrolling text reflected in his lenses. Well, I want to help people. Uh-huh. Nemba stops scrolling the screen and looks over his glasses at you. You do well here, sleeper. You're fast, precise, you're doing good work. He goes back to scrolling. Yeah, thanks. Nemba lifts a hand in response. See, that's my worry, sleeper. The good workers like you, they move on fast. He leans back and looks at you. 10 cycles, maybe more, maybe less, then they're gone. And the team gets used to having them here, gets used to working at that pace. Then, suddenly, they have to work differently. They have to pick up the slack, change jobs, change stations. A few of them think, well, maybe it's time I moved on too. So what I've found is, good workers are trouble, especially those who come and go. Like you. He pauses, watching you. Yeah, I was very seriously considering leaving. Let him speak. See, this place, it runs on consistency, sleeper. Those that turn up every cycle, good or bad, they get the people fed. He takes off his reading glasses, inspecting them for smudges. And let's be honest, that ain't you. So, let's cut to it. I can't use you in the kitchen anymore. You're done. Sorry. But this place also runs on all those machines out there, on the suppliers I can rope in, the donations. Feeding refugees from the inner system is logistics as much as it is chefing. He shakes his head, which is why I'm cooped up in the back. So, maybe you're gone, never see you again. Okay, thanks for coming, we'll soldier on without you. But, maybe you still want to be useful. Maybe I heard you have a ship. He smiles at you. Yeah, maybe I heard you chatting. And maybe I have a little something held up in a place only a ship like yours can reach. I negotiated the purchase of some valuable inter-system spores from a group that came from there, but they somehow ended up at the depot in Greenbelt. Nemba sighs. So if you can head to Greenbelt, find the delivery, bring it back, well, that would be helping. That would be the kind of helping a good worker, even an inconsistent worker, might be able to offer me. Nemba squints at you. Seems like the kind of thing that someone genuine, someone who wants to help, for real, might do, don't you think? He doesn't wait for your reply. But it also seems like the kind of thing that might sit on a list of priorities for so long it disappears and never gets done. I've seen that happen too. I guess we'll find out which it is. He deftly places his reading glasses back on his face and continues to scroll the screen on his terminal. You know the way out, sleeper. You turn in the doorway, slightly taken aback, and it slides shut behind you. You glide out through the kitchen, through the improvised canteen and the people eating and chatting there, and into the cold underhang passageway beyond. All the time considering what you might do next, and recalling that persuasive glint in Nemba's eyes. I mean, is there any considering to do? Who would turn that down? Honestly, I like Nemba a lot. That scene was very compelling to me. So yeah, we're gonna do that for sure. Help Nemba is job number 1 now. And so I have this one. I can't work the kitchen anymore. We definitely aren't doing work off the spindle's edge. So maybe this one is just a throwaway? Maybe we just don't use it? I've rolled a lot of ones, I feel like. You know what? I'm going to dump the one in here. Let's see what happens. How bad could a negative shift at the bar be? Yeah, that's not so bad. A dreary cycle full of desperate and angry drunks. Even when you get a customer, they don't feel, you don't feel much like chatting. Okay, so yeah, we don't ingratiate ourselves with anybody. Make a little bit of cred. That's fine. So let's end the cycle here. It would be a good idea to find some more crew, if we can. As you drift lazily down to the ship's mess, you hear raised voices. You steel yourself for a moment at the entrance, then slip inside. Seraphin sits hooked onto his usual stool, his slate glowing beside him. He's shaking his head as you enter. Bliss, meanwhile, is floating freely and gesticulating sharply as they explain something important. I don't see why not, Bliss chops at the air. It's not like you have an alternative. We can get the cryo. It'll take time, but we can get it. That was the deal. Seraphin speaks calmly, trying to placate Bliss. I was not really doing that. Sleeper. Bliss spots you entering, and they turn to Seraphin. Let's see what Sleeper thinks about it. About the what now? They both fall silent for a moment. Seraphin sighs. The rig's ready, Sleeper. I've fixed it. Hell, I've improved it. She's purring thanks to me. Now, wouldn't you say, having done such an incredible job, I deserve to be paid properly for my work? A calculated look crosses their face. A refit and retune like this would typically cost my clients hundreds of cryo, even if I was feeling charitable. Seraphin sighs loudly. He knows where this is going. See, I could make you pay, and maybe you could even scrape the cryo up, but not without taking a contract and taking the ship off station, leaving me in the lurch. We wouldn't do that, Seraphin starts, but Bliss holds up a hand to shush him. So, I have a proposition, one that clears the debt completely. They pause. I will turn around the open sign on this little bay of mine and join up with you. You keep me in work, give me my split, and give me transit to wherever you're headed. I'll even keep this rig of yours working for free. They shrug. So what could be better than that? Us paying and being on our way with no hangers-on. Seraphin folds his arms and looks at you. Tell him, Sleeper. Well, actually, we could use their help. Bliss grins at Seraphin. See, Sleeper gets it. You can use my help. I'm an excellent engineer, a tidy shipmate, and a half-decent chef. Also, they know how to repair me, so please don't make this weird. I'm done with Far Spindle. I'm done taking not enough jobs for not enough cryo on a station where I know nobody. They pause, satisfied. You're welcome. Seraphin holds up his hands. Look, we appreciate it, but we are on the run, Bliss. Trust me, you are better off here. He gives them a serious look. I mean, even telling you this could put you in danger. Bliss pauses. Then they start laughing. On the run? They shake their heads, smiling. You expect me to be scared off by that goofy shit? Well, I mean, it is true. Bliss just shrugs. The system's at war. The belt's spiraling into a crisis. Everyone's got something. Look, I know you were at Hexport. Seraphin looks at them open-mouthed, searching for a retort. And what happened there? Who's to say it won't happen here? I'm not sitting around watching this all play out any longer. They take a deep breath. Something has got to give. Bliss turns to Seraphin. Look, you've done your due diligence or whatever. You're on the run. I've been warned. I accept the risks. That's it. At the end of the day, your ship is clamped into my bay, so unless you know my encryption protocols, there's not much left to discuss. Seraphin shakes his head, a small smile crossing his face. They've got us there. He looks at you and then at Bliss. Looks like we've gained a crewmate. He unhooks from his stool. But I'm moving to the engine room. And he drifts off toward the bunks to gather his things. You and Bliss exchange a nervous look. Sleeper. Yeah, welcome aboard. Bliss smiles and gives you a half-hearted mock salute. You leave Bliss in the galley and head for the cockpit. The rig is ready to fly again, but the question is, where to take her next? Seraphin mentioned Flotsam, a short starward journey from here, as a busy station where you might find an artificer to help diagnose your glitches and errors. Sunward, meanwhile, is the Helian Gate, an abandoned and uninhabited megastructure left over from the Solheim days. Maybe good for salvage, not an easy place to survive. And beyond that, well, as they say, the belt is wide, and at least now you have a functioning ship. Okay, so we did, in fact, gain crew. Pretty rad. We've unlocked the belt map. Go to the map, press the belt button to travel to other hubs. Okay. Well, we should use these dice, and then we should hit the thing for Nemba, right? That's the ice-rich asteroid. Nemba's thing was at... Oh, this is a little rough with the UI here. Nemba's thing was at the Holmes Rock, the Helium Gate. Where was Nemba's thing? The spores from Greenbelt. I don't even know where Greenbelt is. Well, we did do that. We did get that thing from Malik. So, okay, there is actually more. It's not super clear that you can scroll, and it's very sort of titchy. But so we would go to Helion and then from there fly to Greenbelt. Okay. I would like to get it done, but this Malik thing is like short order, right? So we'll go for that, but I'm sure that doing that is gonna, the travel time is gonna eat our dice for today. So let's spend today's dice first. So working for the scrappers is just gonna get us scrap, which is fine. This is just gonna make us money, I'm sure. I guess if we want to keep getting to know people, we got to run some stuff over here, right? We can do a little bit of work engaging. You ask around about crew and contracts and follow a few promising leads. You're starting to make some progress. So we have discovered Gaia's Gyre, the kelp-centric bar. We can order a rack, which is a seaweed-based liquor with a powerful saline taste. Freelancers of the Far Spindle seem cagey, but spend enough time at the local bar and they'll warm to you. We can also buy some kelp cakes. So we can just get totally blasted and learn something, probably. You know what? Sure. Okay, it does give energy, which is nice. Should I hold off then until the energy is more useful? Nah, I want to just run this through. Alright, so we'll just slam back 4 racks real quick. Rather than dulling your senses, the rack heightens them. Your frame buzzes as it struggles to metabolize the drink. The Far Spindle is an exhausting place to find freelancers. There's no shortage of spacers here. The corridors and bays throng with crew inbound and outbound, on or between contracts, trading stories, contacts, and materials. But whatever language, appearance, or codes identifies someone as worth signing on with, you do not seem to have it. Perhaps it's because you're a new face, or are noticeably unsure. Perhaps it's just because you're a sleeper. You push the thought to the back of your mind and instead focus on what's in front of you, the vast cylindrical tank at the center of Gaia's Gyre. The first time you entered the bar, you floated open-mouthed, much like all new arrivals do, at the sight of the huge kelp stack, the biggest you've ever seen. Even now, your eyes fixated on the fronds of seaweed that wave in the circulating water, beyond the curve of dirty glass. You find it impressive. You take a sip of the harsh saline-scented rack from its magnetic vessel secured to the bar. As you suck on the straw, your eyes following the shifting fronds, you hear someone clearing their throat beside you at the bar. Hypnotic, isn't it? The voice is low and rumbling, and comes from the large figure on the stool next to you. The fluorescent lights behind the bar glint in his eyes, shining up into his wide, rough face. I've heard talk you're hiring. The figure turns to face you. You don't recognize him, but in the shifting light of Geyer's Gaia, Geyer's Gaia, that isn't surprising. Listen, I've had a lot of rack, alright? Yeah? From who? He shrugs and looks around the bar. Sleepers tend to draw attention. You follow his eyes around the bar and notice a couple of the patrons are eyeing you. Yu-Jin, currently freelance. He turns on his stool and leans back a little. The effect is clearly meant to impress on you his size, and you have to admit it works. I served on a whole slate of crews out of the Spindle. Cutters, mercs, extractors. He smiles and places a broad hand on his chest. Broad skill set, good work ethic, sense of humor, the full package. Yeah, humble too. He clucks with his tongue, smiling. I like you already. We're gonna get on. Look, I'll run anything out of the Far Spindle. I'm tough and quiet, and you don't need to worry about me. He folds his arms across his chest. What kind of work are we talking about? Before you can answer, a voice echoes out from behind you. Yu-Jin! You look over your shoulder for the source of the shout. Busy as ever, I see. A group of 3 spacers drift up behind you, one of them placing a heavy hand on your shoulder. She's fitted with matte metal optical implants. You cannot see her eyes. The caustic light from the tank plays across her face. Too busy to keep in touch, she sighs. I really don't like it when I have to come and find you. Vesna! Yu-Jin nods politely at her, not betraying any strong reaction. Do I look like I'm socializing? He shakes his head. This is a meeting. Oh, a meeting. Vesna squeezes your shoulder. Is that what this is? Yeah, Vesna, we were talking about your delivery, in fact. Yu-Jin smiles widely. My friend here is being very helpful. He shoots you a knowing glance. Yeah, that's right. I'm super helpful. That's my whole thing. Vesna turns to you with a raised eyebrow, but before she can speak, Yu-Jin cuts in. You know, this sleeper has a unique ability to extract data. Yu-Jin smiles at Vesna. Exactly the kind of data you've been asking for. So if we could just get back to it, Yu-Jin gestures toward you. Then I can deliver what you need. You know, Yu-Jin, I am pretty tired of this whole act. She gestures dismissively at him. But in the end, it doesn't matter. She drops her hand from your shoulder to her belt. Your eyes follow it down, and you see a dark, boxy shape there. A weapon? You either deliver by the deadline or you don't. And when you don't, she smiles tightly, I'll be happy to take you through the consequences. Until then, she shoots you a final glance. Chat to whoever the hell you want. Vesna and the 2 spacers flanking her glide out of the bar, and Yu-Jin watches them go with little emotion. So, Yu-Jin's smile returns. You were about to hire me. Sorry, what was that? Oh, Vesna? He shrugs. She's just trying to rush me, that's all. I won't be working with her again. He pauses, choosing his words carefully. Of course, I can't talk about the particulars, you understand. The Vesna just wants to scare you off. She likes to cause me trouble. Yu-Jin looks away, out of the door of the bar. Let's not let her. He pauses in silence for a moment, still looking away. You try to get a read on him, but his face is blank. Only his glittering eyes hint at some rapid internal activity. He turns back to you and meets your eye, a sudden shift in his manner obvious. If you need crew, you need to work, and if you need to work, you need cryo. Is that right? He doesn't stop for your answer. Well, I can offer both. Hard work and a good contract with a good payout. When you take me with you on this job of mine, we'll split the take. He looks down, thinking. I mean, hell, if you do, I'll consider signing on long term. He smiles. Now think of that. No more recruiting. Okay, what's the job? Salvage. He leans in. I know of a wreck untouched by the local crews, which recently turned up in the wash. It's just a little sunward from here, but its disabled transponder makes it invisible to anyone who doesn't know it's there. I had to squeeze the location out of a contract, but I'll share it with you for a straight split, out of a contact. They use both of those words a lot, you know? Alright, you take me and your crew, we'll claim it all. It's gonna be a good payout. He winks. A really good one. Okay, and the catch is... What? No catch. He leans back and looks around the bar. I'm happy to take the offer elsewhere. I just felt like you were the right captain for this one. And I'll be ready to go whenever you like. As a show of good faith, I'll also fly out with you on any job from the Far Spindle. But I'm not leaving the station with you yet. Not till we get my job done first. After that, we can talk flying together. No need to rush into it. He shakes your hand firmly, his palm rough and pitted, then turns back to his drink. You slip out of the bar, looking to see if Vesna is nearby. You don't spot her among the passing crews, but you can't help but imagine eyes on you in the bar. You shake it off, having become familiar with the feeling of being observed. What matters is you found yourself a crew member and a contract. Whether either will come good remains to be seen. Yeah, I like him though. So, 2 points again already. We're blazing through these upgrades. I definitely want to continue engaging. We'll throw the 5 on this. A neutral result in a danger place is often actually pretty harmful, so I'm a little nervous about that. The Spindle Trade Hall. So here we can refill our fuel and supplies. Okay, good to have a place where we can do that. I am going to go ahead and throw the 4 at it. Fingers crossed, y'all. Okay, neutral. So we did finish this. We did get another point there. The Far Spindle lives up to its name, its tall stature making it a real effort to travel from end to end. The local solution to this problem are the transit tunnels, massive tubes bolted down onto the outside of the spindle that allow for rapid passage from bottom to top. As you find yourself in one of these cavernous passages, bulky cargo haulers rushing by, you start to wonder if braving them is worth the effort. Back up! The shout rattles down the bare transit corridor like a gunshot and is rapidly followed by a crunching impact. You spin back, pushing yourself against the side of the wide cylindrical passage. As you do, a hauler glides past, sending a rippling wave of air across you in its wake. When the roar subsides, you hear a string of expletives coming from nearby. A spiky-looking figure, clutching some oddly shaped open-frame object, gestures wildly at the vehicle as it glides away. Dickhead! She spits an impressive glob of saliva down the tunnel, and it spirals in 0G. She turns to you in her anger. Did you see that? He tried to slam me into the wall! Yeah, total, dickhead. She nods firmly. Yeah, no shit. Haulers hate us. She sniffs and looks you up and down. Not supposed to be in the transit system without a vehicle. She squints. Not like I care, but maybe you do? Oh, right, sorry. Like I said, I don't care. She rolls one of her shoulders, stretching it out. So you're new here then, right? Yeah, it is obviously that obvious, yes. She shrugs sympathetically. Figures. Alright, let me give you a tip. She begins checking her open-frame vehicle, tightening bolts and untangling pipes. Avoid the haulers. Dickheads, the lot of them. Especially the water haulers. I think they're better than everyone. Don't mess with the stevedores, though. They're good people. They get treated like shit by everyone else, just like us. She rapidly plugs and unplugs a series of connectors. Well, they'll show you the shortcuts. She looks up, and never, ever get in a Spindlejack's way. She smiles, spinning the vehicle in her hand. A Spindlejack? She thumps her chest. You're looking at one. Oh, I thought it might be what the bike was called. She pauses, considering something. Then, suddenly, she reaches into one of her many pockets and pulls out a small transparent rectangle punched with holes. Text glints within it, reading, Cadet Stripline Express. You take it. Cadet, she flexes proudly. That's me. Stripline's my outfit. Kamal's the dispatcher. It's a small outfit, but we punch above our weight. Dispatch is here in the Spindle's core, but I run the transit tunnels up and down the Spindle 10 times a cycle. If you need anything moving on the Spindle, data, tech, messages too hot for the hardline, you come and find me. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I think, our character is definitely, action forward, right? But in social situations, I imagine, pretty easily overwhelmed. And so Cadet here with the fast talk and the very, aggressive personality, has probably got us all the way on our back heels. She nods. You tell them I sent you. They'll make sure it gets to me. She kicks off the wall and mounts her bike, triggering a small burst of compressed air to keep herself steady in the transit passage. You hear a buzz of distorted speech from what you assume is her dispatcher. Cadet angles her head to her communicator and mutters back into it. Gotta hop, sleeper. She looks over at you, and something flickers in her eyes. An idea, or perhaps just a realization. You might be able to help me with something. A package that's been bothering me. She squints down the passage. Come to the office strip line in a few cycles. I'll show you. Yeah, sure. We call it a favor on account of me saving you from being flattened by the hauler. She winks. Now, you better get out of here before another hauler tries to squish you. You step back as she twists the handlebars and a burst of air sends her flying down the transit corridor at an unsettling speed. You watch her go, slightly caught off guard by her final remarks. What would a courier need you for? You turn the idea over in your head as you find a way out of the transit corridor, back to the safety of the main concourse. Okay, so we've discovered the Stripline Express location, which we will be wanted at in a couple of days. And that was the last thing at the mid there, right? Yeah, okay. Can't do anything with Cadet for at least 2 days. So we have 2 dice left and not a lot of things to use them on, a 3 and a 2. Maybe it's time to just prep for a job. I mean, we could do this, right? We could throw a 3 at this, no problem. Okay, positive. 2 pips on Gambler's Friend. It's only going to take like a year of working here to get that filled. You know what? I'll throw this at it as well. It's not that risky. Okay. Could be so much worse. Alright, so at this point, I think what I want to do is the ice-rich asteroid thing. We'll maybe take Yu-Jin with us because he said he'd be available. But let's do this first because it feels kind of time sensitive, even though from a mechanical standpoint, I bet it isn't. Then we can maybe consider the Yu-Jin thing, and then we head out and see about Greenbelt, or I don't know. I think probably the ice-rich asteroid is next, but I certainly don't think I'm going to start it right now, 57 minutes into the episode. So that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, it turns out we have an awful lot of work to do. And we'll see you then.